Good afternoon, Gary High School staff. Um, I want to take a moment to welcome everybody back after hopefully a great summer to the 26-27 school year. Um, Most of everybody, we know each other, but for our new staff, my name is Juan Ortiz. I have the blessing of serving as the principal for Gary High School, and I'm super excited to lead us and lead our community again this school year. I wanted to take a moment to kind of provide a bit of an overview, a state of the school, for lack of a better term, and kind of set some context and some goals for what we're going to be doing this school year. I also want to thank everyone in advance for the countless hours that you'll spend prepping and planning and implementing and supporting our students uh, to become the Vikings that we know they all can be to reach their full potential and leave their own legacy here at Gary High School. So I want to start off our state of the school address just by reminding everybody about our vision here at Gary High School. Over the last two or 3 years, we've really worked together, collaborated, gone through a lot of revisions, and really some reflection about what our values are and what we really want for our students as we crafted our updated school vision. There were a lot of spirited meetings, and I really appreciate everyone really being honest about what they wanted it to be. So this is kind of what we talk about at Gary. At Gary High School, we're committed to fostering a culture of learning with our legacy grounded in respect, responsibility, and results. We encourage our students to commit themselves to perseverance and achievement in academic and personal excellence for their success in a diverse community. Our vision is attainable through rigorous and relevant curriculum, effective instructional practices, student engagement, and ongoing school-wide collaboration that is student-centered and goal-oriented. Our vision is really critical because when we go through tough times, when we face challenges together as a team, it's our vision that's going to keep us on the right path. It's our vision that's going to remind us why we are sacrificing, why we're working the way we are, what we're working to. So it's always something that we're going to refer to. And in fact, in your mailboxes, as you come back to work, you will receive a small poster of our vision so that we can all have those up in our classrooms and our students can be reminded of what we're working forward to together. So here at Gary, we are a large community, right? We serve over 1,679 students in grades 9 through 12. Um, but we are not just our students, we are also our staff. We have 55 classroom teachers, two resource teachers, a school psychologist, five administrators, a speech pathologist. We are made up of an incredible classified staff that's just over 15 office staff, six janitors that work incredibly hard to keep our school looking its best, 10 instructional aides that support our students with disabilities, and our eight security staff that work together with our administrators to make sure that we're all safe on a daily basis. When we look at our students a little deeper, not only are we nearly 1,700 students, 21% of our students are English learners, multilingual students that started off their life in a home where their first language was not English. This year, we continue to have a large majority, nearly 93% of our students as a Title One students. Around 1% of our students are identified as foster, nearly 15% of our students as homeless, and 17% of our students are identified as students with learning disabilities. If you're familiar with Gary, you've been here, then you know that 93% of our students are Hispanic, but we also have a growing African American and Chinese student population here. And our African American students are around 2.3% of our population. So Gary High School is a diverse place with students that come from very different backgrounds, whether they be their ethnic backgrounds or their socioeconomic backgrounds. And we are a diverse place where everyone can find a place to be a Viking and leave their legacy. I wanted to speak to because I know currently in our district we have seen some schools consolidate and combine due to low enrollment and declining enrollment. But I want to assure our community and our teachers and staff that that's not something that Gary High School is facing. And in fact, our feeder pattern continues to be very strong on the south side of Pomona. We have five different feeder schools, right? Philadelphia, Lexington, that's a K 8, our middle school, Simons, Middle School has 578 students, so it remains with a robust attendance, along with Alcott, Washington, and Behar as our other K-8 feeder schools. So currently, you can kind of see the makeup of our school with 396 incoming freshmen, ninth graders coming to us from Simons and Lexington and Behar. And so our feeder pattern continues to be strong. And I think with all the updates we've had to our campus, that our community will continue to be excited about sending their children to Gary High School. So if you've ever been at Gary, you know that we talk about our legacy all the time. You'll see it up around this acronym up around our school. And it's really one of the things that I truly love about our school. This idea that all of us are responsible for leaving a part of us at Gary, right? We all contribute to the history and the legacy that Gary High School has in Pomona. So we're going to continue to use this acronym kind of as our guiding principles, that we are committed, that teachers, staff, everyone, students to be lifelong learners. We're going to focus this year about and continue to focus on being effective communicators, global citizens, helping our students think outside just of the city of Pomona, but how they're going to impact the world around them. In order to do that, they need to be analytic thinkers, and we need to guide them through critical thinking and problem solving. Within that work, they don't do it alone. They need to learn to be creative collaborators, and through all that together, they can yield quality work, whether that's in their fine arts class, whether that's in their calculus class, their ninth grade English class. We all start the moment that we come onto campus this August to leave our legacy. We're going to switch gears a little bit and start talking about our academic performance. So I'm going to bring some highlights out. As we know, over the last 2 years that we've been working together, we're really working to look at the data, the academic data of our students, really in three categories, right? Data for our students is either celebratory, shows that we're making growth, or urgent, that we need to address certain issues. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and that's going to frame kind of where we're moving forward for this year and moving forward. Um, we had such a great year. There are so many ways to capture success, but I wanted to look at the California dashboard and share that, is that that's the official accountability tool for in California. But let's start with our grad rate. Our graduation rate last year at Gary High School was 93.9%. You can see that we went back a little bit, but really still maintained and stayed in that green. But what's exciting is that our graduation rate is, I think, significantly higher than the state of California, right? The state of California graduates about nearly 88% of their students, but here at Gary High School, we did 93.9, and a little bit higher the year before. Another thing to celebrate, our science data. Our science assessment in high school has been a challenge, as it being an end of study course, and when we test students. So I want to thank our science teachers, our counselors, everyone working together to find the right time to test our students. You can see that we moved up into the green, another area where our students, our 11th grade students, are demonstrating that they are gaining proficiency, and we increased by 7.8 points. You can see that none of our subgroups, students with disabilities, English learners, none of them were in the red. So that was really, really good news. Um, a little bit behind where the state is at, but we made more growth than the state of California did last year. So I'm really proud of that work, and I hope that you are as well. We continue to really partner classroom teachers, counselors, administrators, parents together to make sure that we are working with our students and keeping them here on our campus, even on some of their challenging days. So you can see our suspension rate in the upper right hand corner of this slide. We only suspended 2.8% of our students last year, and that is continues to be the work of us engaging with our students, authentically working with them, and keeping them on campus, even when they have tough days or going through something difficult. That's right in line with the state of California. And so I'm really proud of this work. We have data to celebrate. Thank you so much for all the hard work that you put in. Next up, guys, I want to discuss some data that really shows that we're growing and kind of demonstrate that we need to stay the course and what we're doing is starting to show impact on our student outcomes, but maybe not where we want it to be totally yet, right? So, our two biggest categories on the California dashboard is our English language arts results and our mathematics results. And so I am proud of this work. I want you to be proud of this work. Thank you so much to our mathematics teachers. Thank you to our history, language, arts, science teachers that work on the literacy of our students. You can see in our language arts results, we increased by 4 points, the distance from standard. I'm sorry, that's not correct. We are 4.1 points below standard. So, as an 11th grade, they were very close to all of them being grade level, and we had an incredible increase of 26.9 points. That does not happen without everybody working together. And while the kids take the test in the 11th grade, it does not happen without our ninth and 10th grade teachers really setting a solid foundation for the work they need to do in the 11th grade. We do have one a group that is in the red and three in the orange. So while we are doing better and we had a great year, we still have some work to do to make sure that we're focusing on our subgroups. On the math side, nearly went up by the same amount, actually a little bit more. We increased by 28.2 points, our distance from standard. And also in the yellow, but you can see that we have a lot more ways to go. Our students are 92 points below standard on average, and we have the same kind of subgroups getting in the red and orange, and we're going to talk about those subgroups and kind of what our next moves are together. But those increases are significant. Those increases do not happen. There are some of the biggest gains, if not the biggest gains, in secondary and Pomona Unified, and I want you to really feel good about that work that we did last year together. And while we're not where we want to be, we're not in the green yet. We can see that what we're doing together is getting us on that pathway. So thank you so much for your hard work. While our strength of our state of our school is strong and showing growth and having some incredible successes, we do have to talk about one area where we have some urgent data that really means that we have to continue to come together to collaborate to work as one team on really addressing the needs of a certain subgroup. So, one of our subgroups that are not having the same success as everyone else are our English learner multilingual students. You can see on the left hand side in the English Learner Progress Indicator, known as the LP, we touched base on it a little bit while last year, and we're going to continue to focus on it. It came up red. Only 34.5% of all our English learners made progress. And while over the last 2 years, we've had incredible success in reclassifying students. I remember about 5 years ago, we had 550 English learners. We're now down to under 300. The 300 students that we do have last year, and actually really closer to 223 as I'm looking at this slide, um, then only 34% of them made growth. So that means that only 60% of them moved up one level in the LPAC. So we really need to focus on their literacy, the skills that they need, focus on their strengths, and really start coming together with some consistent pedagogy on what we're going to do to support their work. You can see that we serve overall 223 English learner multilingual students. 35 of them are newcomers. The biggest group is our long-term English learners. These are students that have many times born and raised in the United States. They still have more than 7 years in, 6, 7 years in. They have not been able to reclassify as RFEP students, and they tend to be struggling more than anybody else. You can see the distance from standard for English learners is 155 points versus the 27 points for everybody else. Their math distance from standard is even more significant, 211 points from standard. The state of California has also started to focus on our long-term English learners, which makes sense for us. There's 167 of those students are on campus. Last year, a little bit better, but only 36% of them moved forward. And in both categories, they moved back from where we had last year. So this is our urgent data. We are going to continue the work we've been doing and really start focusing on how we support these students to make sure that they're enjoying the success and so many other Vikings are at our school. Over the summer, the instructional leadership team, which is made up of department chairs and other Gary staff that have volunteered to be part of this committee to help lead our school forward, we had a chance to meet this summer and look at our data that I've shared with you today, and really have some awesome discussions about where we want to move next. And we started looking at different strategies, different approaches. We looked at the surveys that we did last year with our parents. I also shared some of the results that we had from our end of year discussions with staff about what should be our priorities. And we chose two strategies. We're going to call them our initiatives that are not just going to be for the upcoming school year, but moving forward. Um, Number one, we feel that the instructional leadership team feels that we can really take Gary to the next step if we focus on improving the engagement of families. Research says that the engagement of families, high engagement, will really strengthen student learning in and out of school. And so we're going to do some learning together about what does that mean. Engagement is more than just showing up at a parent teacher conference, right? Authentically having two-way communication and helping our community feel that they are viable partners, that they have a voice in what we're doing at Gary. So we're going to start building that infrastructure out over the next 3 years. And the second part, thinking about what we saw in our English learner data. How do we provide inclusivity in learning, right? That inclusivity means that all our students have a pathway to success. That leads to positive school ethos and culture, and really helps us meet our school needs. So, starting this year, we're going to talk about these initiatives and kind of guiding some of the more specific work that we're going to do, not just for 1 year, but over for the next 3 years. And we're going to talk about that, what that starts looking like next. A little bit earlier, I took a moment to talk about our acronym legacy, right, and what that means. And the L stands for lifelong learners, and that goes for every staff member, every adult, and every student at Gary. So how did we, as an instructional leadership team, come to the decision to start these two initiatives to continue to meet the needs of our students? Well, we did some research, right? And why do we feel that really focusing on the engagement of our parents is going to help unlock more of our student potential? We had a chance to look at Bronfenbrenner's ecological system that talks about the different levels of impact from the microsystem to mesosystem, and we really reinforce how critical the relationship between parents and school is, not just when students are very young, but all the way through high school, right? That relationship is pivotal. We looked at some of John Hattie's work, which we've talked about as a staff before, and that strong parent collaboration with schools does have a significant effect. That kind of supported our idea to really start focusing on this a little bit more. And then we looked at staff surveys, right? And staff surveys, many of you told us that we need better parent support. We need our parents to know why school is so important. We need their help in getting our students to be motivated, to getting them to be engaged in school, to seeing our work as a priority. So those three kind of data points came together and told us, you know what, we're going to do some more learning about this and start building out our systems. The second part, when we talk about promoting inclusivity, right? Not only is it our English learners that are struggling to have access to the rigorous curriculum we provide, but our students with disabilities are also not having as much success they should. And so, looking at what that pedagogy should look like from the California Department of Education. What are we supposed to be providing? And it's clear that we need to provide designated and integrated ELD. And integrated ELD is the space where all our teachers, everyone that teaches our students, can start using specific pedagogy that supports not only our English and long term English learners, but all students. So we're going to start looking at specific professional development from a partner called EL Achieve, that is kind of at the forefront of integrated ELD. And we're going to start learning about what things we can incorporate. You're going to see a lot of crossover on some of the things we do, but in terms of Avid and some of the EL supports that we already provide. But the EL Achieve approach called Constructing Meaning is going to give us some very specific routines that really focuses on the expressive language of our students. So we just didn't pick these initiatives out of a bag. They didn't come down top down from the district or instructional leadership team during our summer work together. Had some time to reflect, bring some research forward, and decide that this is the pathway we're going to follow together. So let's take a look a little bit at what the next 3 years are going to look like. Let's start with our first initiative, kind of like a roadmap for how we're going to improve the engagement of families to strengthen student learning in our school. We're going to go slow to go fast. This is not going to happen over in 1 year. And I don't want to overwhelm you with all the details. We're going to be working on these together during the school year. But I wanted to give you an overview. Starting in this school year, 26, 27, we're really going to start providing a hybrid Zoom option for as many school meetings as possible. And you're going to see in parentheses who's kind of going to lead that work. So that'll be on our administrators, whether that's coffee with the principal, school site council, our ELAC committees, whatever that is, our avid parent nights. We're going to add that Zoom option. A large part of our community is very concerned about the ICE activity and enforcement in Pomona, and they're nervous about coming to meetings. So we're going to provide that space, and that means that we're also going to be doing as often as we can um, Zoom hybrid options for our meetings in the evening. Right? When we looked at our parent surveys, the majority of our parents said they're available from 6 to 7. So that's going to work well on administrators for us to do that work. We're also going to start a series of town hall meetings that again will be in Zoom. They'll be led by administrators, and we're going to invite department chairs when necessary to really start providing some background for our parents about high school. So, for our parents that have never had a high schooler before, or maybe just aren't so much in tune with what A through G means, with how impactful credits are, what is eligibility to play sports, how does the IEP process work in high school, different topics, and we're going to be leaning on our staff to kind of help us pick those topics, but we're going to be inviting them on a monthly basis so they understand what graduation requirements are, how to read their students LPAC scores, whatever topics you think that would be best for parents. You can see for teachers we've identified um, a pocket talk device that is going to help you translate so that you feel more comfortable in being able to reach out our parents if you can't speak Spanish or Chinese or one of the 13 languages that we have on campus. We're going to do some training on these really cool devices that we're using our Title I parent funds with, and everyone will receive one so that they can feel confident in supporting our newcomers and also supporting our parents. So you can see that we're also going to focus on this year professional development on a document called the High Leverage Practices in Special Education. Those relationships with our parents whose children have IEPs are super important, and we're going to talk about specific strategies on how to make sure those relationships with our families are strong. Over the next 2 years, you're going to see we're going to do something a little bit different with a school site advisory committee, and we're going to partner in helping our community help us make sure that we have a school safety plan that's accessible to parents, right? That they understand what the lockdown procedure is, what is the reunification protocol for students and teachers. Last year, as we all remember, we went through that day where we had a significant lockdown. And while internally we've had the discussion on how we could do better, I think it's a good place for our parents to have an authentic voice on how they could do that. Also, something that we're going to start planning next year that won't happen until 28, 29 is our Inside the Shield events. Inside the Shield, our Viking Shield, we're going to start working together on how we can hold a couple of days where our community can come into our campus and see you all in action with our students. Um, I get to walk classrooms, and our administrators get to walk classrooms and see the incredible work that you do. And I think it will help us and our community build that trust when they can actually see the instruction that's happening. 28, 29 will really be about implementing some of the work we've done. We're also going to start looking at a framework for parent engagement from this California Department of Education and building our surveys around that. So we have a lot of work to do, but we're not going to do it all this year. So I want everybody not to feel like, oh my God, we're taking everything on at one time. We're going to layer it. This is our initial plan, and we're going to work together to see what works and what we have to modify. But this kind of gives you a little overview of the path that we're kind of taking and some of the actual actions we'll take to start improving the engagement for our families. We're going to finish up our state of a school address by talking about our second initiative, and that really has to do about the inclusivity of learning, right, and creating a positive school ethos and culture while we meet everyone's needs. So this really, remember, started by looking at the results that our English learners had, and we're going to start again the same approach as we're taking with our other initiative. We're going to go slow to go fast. We're going to layer it. Not everything's going to happen at one time, but 26, 27, you're going to see a little bit of a change in our professional development. We're going to work with the English learner, multilingual learner program or department in our district so that we can build a strong base across all Gary staff, that we really understand how the metrics work that measure English learner progress. We're going to be talking about the LP, learning how to calculate it, digging into our reclassification candidates, and really starting to analyze our LPAC results. I talked a little bit about working with our partners from EL Achieve. Our first cohort, we're going to go in two stages. Not everyone is going to go through the professional development all in one year. We're going to stagger it. Our mathematics, science, and fine arts teachers will begin that 5 day constructing meaning integrated ELD work during development days from our district. But it won't only be teachers, our administrators, all five of us will be going at different times to participate in the 5 day with you, but also in 3 days separate administrators, right? This work also falls on our school leadership, not just in our classrooms. Um, Connecting with our students a little bit more, we are going to do some presentations so that they understand what to expect in the strategies and the structured student talk um, protocols that you are going to be learning about. And so they know what to anticipate. So I'll be leading that work, meeting with our students in groups of about 50 at a time so they understand what is going on. Why are we starting these different strategies? Why are we doing them in different classrooms? So they know what's going on. 27, 28 will see us continue into our next cohort, which will be our language arts, social studies, social science teachers, and our elective teachers will start the same CM training. Our folks from this year, they will be getting support days with directly from EL Achieve. And we're going to start that year some walkthroughs. We'll start using, we're not going to do any kind of observations around the integrated ELD strategies in the first year. That will start in the second year with cohort one so that we can start progress monitoring and seeing how this is working for our students. 28, 29, excuse me, we'll see us continue our support days, but now working with our district teacher specialists. We'll continue with the walkthroughs. And the big change that year is it'll align with our Behind the Shield Day. Our first Behind the Shield Day will be an opportunity to showcase the integrated ELD, the structured student conversations, the differentiated language patterns, everything that we're going to learn about in our Constructing Meaning initiative. We're going to be able to start showing our community how, as a school, we are all using these specific strategies to support, yes, our English learners, but really support all our students in really developing their expressive abilities in academic reading and writing. So with that, I want to say thank you for spending the time and watching and listening to our state of the school address. We will be obviously talking about this as we move forward together. But I want to again thank you in advance for all that you, or hard work that you do. It is a privilege to be part of this learning community. It is a blessing to be the principal at Gary High School. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the incredible things you do with our students. Thank you very much, Viking staff. Let's have a great year.